Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Durin, and I'm gonna be making a guide about the BloodMage and then kind of Necromancer with Bonestorm and Detonate. I wanted to create this guide before, and I had it already recorded, but since the changes are giving us like a 50% increase in Bonestorm damage and Bone Cage and everything like that, I wanted to make sure that the patch came out before I made the guide. So here we are. I'm gonna be going through the passives, my gear, then we're gonna run some maps, and I'm gonna tell you what I think about the build, what stats do I think we have to chase, and what I think the current state of BloodMage is. So for starters, we're gonna go with the build, like the passive tree, and I'm gonna show you the gem skills too. So the gem setup is like really simple. We are going with a wand, which is a bone one. So we have bone blast, but this is irrelevant pretty much. You are never gonna use it. Then we have life remnants, which is from Sanguinancy, and we have it with vitality, clarity, and cannibalism. Vitality is for life recovery. Cannibalism is for life recovery when we kill enemies, and clarity is for mana recovery because we are gonna need that a lot. Then we have Unearth, which is useless. I had it there because, I don't know, I was just, maybe I use it sometimes, but I never press it since the patch. Skeletal Warriors, you can use them, but I'm gonna show you something that I think is better for Spirit Reservation. Then we have Bone Cage for when we are surrounded, and right now it does nice damage. Then we have Bonestorm, and we have it with Scattershot. Why do we have Scattershot? Because you could think, okay, it gives me 20% less cast speed. Yeah, it does, but the way it works is like Bonestorm, when you fully charge it, you have like 20 projectiles. So the first time I thought like, okay, but 22 projectiles for 20% less damage and 20% less cast speed is not worth it. But that's not the way it actually works. So when you channel it, every time it generates a projectile, instead of generating a projectile, you generate 3 because it generates 2 additional projectiles. So you are getting to 20 projectiles in 66% less time. Basically, you are winning like a 66% cast speed for 20% less damage, which is totally worth it. Then we have Brutality, we have Arcane Tempo for cast speed, and we have Inevitable Critical because basically we like gain critical hit chance casting like on the casting time you're winning the critical hit and you're getting like 15% extra critical hit chance. So it's worth. I don't know if whenever they fix heft it will be better because heft gives you like 30% more maximum physical damage. So I think it will be better, but for now I'm running this in a 4-link socket. Then you have Profane Ritual for power charge generation. It's really good with Bonestorm, like especially for clear, but it's not mandatory. Like you can totally avoid this if you want. Oh, by the way, you can also run Pierce if you want with Bonestorm, but that's why I'm including Detonate because I didn't like the fact that I needed to include Pierce for the Bonestorm setup. And since Detonate is really good for clearing and it does physical damage too, so it's basically scaling with our build anyways. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of the Pierce so I can get an additional damaging support and I'm not losing any damage, basically. So I thought that was the better option, and that's what I run, basically. And then we have Soul Offering, but it's totally useless because I'm not running Skeletal Warriors anymore, so you can totally avoid this. Then for the gear, we want cast speed, physical damage, physical spell damage, the level of socketed skill gems. So we have in the bone, we have spell damage, increased spell physical damage, cast speed, and physical spell skills. And then mana and intelligence are really good, but probably the best suffix you can get instead of intelligence would be critical spell damage bonus. And instead of mana, I'm not really sure if there's any prefix that is better, to be honest. Like, you could get hybrid spell damage with mana, and that would probably be better, but since I'm struggling with mana, this is what I run. You can find ones like this for like a divine, a bit more. So you can go for +3 level of all physical spell skills if you're not finding it, or you can go for less spell damage, less spell physical damage, a bit less cast speed. But yeah, I would recommend going with high cast speed because the build feels so much better when you have cast speed. And then everything else you can just get one tier down or one tier up depending on your currency right now. And then for the focus we have spell physical damage, energy shield, spell damage, level of all spell skills, and critical spell damage bonus. The attribute requirements is obviously useless because we're going for intelligence, so requirements is nothing. But everything else is useful, and you can always, like before with the one, you can always reduce one tier if you don't have enough currency to get something like this. But yeah, the build will feel good anyways after the patch. So I just needed so much damage before, and now I'm melting everything, so you don't really need this. Then we have resistances, life, and some energy shield. Here I run with a increased mana regeneration rate chest. If I could change the runes, I will go for again mana regeneration in the runes too. So if you get a chest like this, I would recommend that in both runes you get mana regen instead of this, because it feels much better. And then life and some resistances. For the rings I have strength, resistances, and maximum life and some mana. In this ring I have strength, resistances, life, and mana regeneration because I don't know, it just feels good. Then for the gloves, life, critical damage bonus, and resistances. For the belt, life, strength, and resistances. And in the boots, high movement speed, high life, rarity, and resistances. But yeah, you can I would recommend first going for movement speed, and then everything else is like rarities obviously not needed, and resistances are useful too, but since the patch we have like 90 to all resistances, so you can get rid of some of the resistances I have, and that would reduce the price of the things a lot. So yeah, keep that in mind when you are trying to find these items, okay? Oh, and I was forgetting the amulet. For the amulet we have maximum life, level of all spell skills, again, resistance, damage, recoup as mana, but the useful ones are life, level of all spell skills, charge resistance, and the attributes we have in the implicit. And then for the anointment, I went for infused flesh, and I went for it because I wanted to feel a bit more tanky, since this build really doesn't have a defensive mechanism. Like, we are not stacking armor, we are not stacking evasion, we are not sending the damage through mana or anything. We are just stacking life with Sanguimancy. Basically, we're stacking life because we have like 5k life when we are fully charged with Sanguimancy. And you can see I have 2666 life, so we basically go for 5.2k life when we are fully stacked. So I decided that recoup would be a good mechanic, and basically we go for life, damage taken recouped as life, and then here we get this cluster of recoup life and increased recoup effects. And I basically went for it because I think it's a good defensive mechanism, but because it's probably one of the cheapest anointments you can get right now. Anointments like I wanted to go for this one because it says increase amount of life leads and increase physical damage. It gets reduced maximum life, but 5% is not much anyways. But the thing is, isolation costs like 170 exalts right now each. So this would be like 6 divines for an anointment. I'm not really gonna pay that if my amulet is still not beast. Like, it makes no sense to pay that. And then we could go for instant leech, Voracious, but again, isolation and suffering are so fucking expensive right now. and it just makes no sense to pay so much for so little, like, because the amulet is not gonna last long. So anyways, if we go through the talent tree, you can see like I have, it's a bit random, like you can see we're traveling so much and it doesn't feel like we are actually getting clusters that are together, so you get a lot of travel points, but this is the best I could like actually find. Like, yeah, I don't think there's anything better. You can tell me in the comments if you found a better setup, but yeah, I don't really think there is any. So we are basically going for spell damage. We get this, which is spell damage and intelligence. Cast speed, which is really, really important. Hit chance for spells and physical damage. Critical hit chance for spells. Spell damage. We get a bit of reduced cast speed, but the thing is 30 spell damage is worth it. Then critical damage or critical hit chance, and damage bonus. Critical increased damage if you delta critical hit, which is like pretty much always. Then skill speed, which goes for cast speed and attack speed. So you are just using the cast speed, but 5 cast speed and mana regen is really good. Then cast speed again with dexterity and intelligence. We don't use the dexterity, but intelligence is fine. Then increase damage if you delta critical hit and critical hit chance. Critical damage bonus, and then I have the cluster here, but don't pay attention to this because this is I'm gonna get rid of this almost immediately, so don't care about this, okay? And then we have critical hit chance. Here is critical hit chance again with dexterity, increased physical damage and strength. The damage taken recuperates life, as I told you before. Then we have critical damage bonus with strength and physical damage. Critical hit chance. So you can basically see that we go for critical hit chance and physical damage dealt, physical damage and hit chance, and then we have this cluster here, which is the most interesting one probably, which is mana regen and gain arcane search when we deal a critical hit. Arcane search basically gives us cast speed and mana regen, and it's really, really interesting because it's 10% more cast speed. It's not 10% increased, so it's multiplicative and it feels really amazing when you have arcane search. Okay. So for the Ascendancy, we go BloodMage, obviously, and we have Sanguinancy because it's mandatory. Like right now, I don't think it's really good because I don't think paying life and mana for spells is worth. Like I've seen many streamers and many Reddit posts and guides saying that it should give you blood magic, which is basically you only pay life for it. But I think that if they gave us that, we could maybe go for mind over matter, and basically like mana becomes a second health pool. So it would be, I mean, maybe it would be too OP, but I'm not really sure. Like, we will have to see. Then Vitality Siphon, because it gives us spell damage, leads us life, and it's good for support. I'm like really not sure if this is actually working. Like sometimes I feel like it doesn't work, because when you're running maps with the gem setup we have for life remnants, basically Cannibalism is keeping you up always, and you have Vitality and you are getting the life orbs and you're basically healing off kills. And in bosses, I'm killing them so fast right now in maps that I don't really notice it, so I couldn't tell you. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's working. I saw many posts saying it doesn't, then I see people saying it does. If you feel like it doesn't work, you can always go for life loss from hits is prevented, like 25%, and because this is really worth it. But yeah, this is what I like to run. This one, I think it's actually not working either. Like I don't know if you know this, but if you click shift, you can see how that particular node or notable affects your build. And you can see that if I do it in the Sunder the Flesh, you can see that it actually shows the damage increase or reduction you get from taking this node. But if we do it in Gore Spike, it says no skills affected, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't know, because every other node shows that, like every single other node. This node, because obviously it doesn't affect damage, but yeah, any node that is giving you damage is gonna show this. So Gore Spike is not showing it either. I don't really know why. It's supposed to work based on the life we have. I don't know if it works with overcap life, if we have like, because right now we have a health pool of almost 3k. So if you have 3k life, it's gonna give you like 70 critical damage bonus, which is fine. But if you have 6,000 health pool, it's gonna give you 140 critical damage bonus, which is massive, you know. So if this isn't working right now and they patch it and it works, we're gonna do so much damage. And if it's working, I don't know, maybe they will show it in the tooltip at some point, or we will see it somewhere. I have no idea. Like, I can tell you guys because we don't have PoE. There's nothing I can do to check it because critical damage bonus is something like, I don't know how to measure, because with Bonestorm you throw spikes and every spike has a chance to critical hit. Maybe you crit with 20, maybe you crit with 1, maybe you don't crit at all. So yeah, it's really hard to measure. But yeah, just based on the tooltip not changing when you take this node and that nothing basically moves or shows in the damage increase and reduction, I can tell you like if it works or not. But yeah, this is basically the Ascendancy and the passive tree we went through, and I'm gonna run a map now and you're gonna see how the build actually plays. Basically, the idea is throwing Bonestorm to the first pack of mobs and then running, casting Detonate Death on every single mob we kill with trigger explosions, and yeah, it's gonna be really fun. You're gonna see that. So yeah, we're gonna run a map. It's at tier 13. This one has no boss, but I will try to include in the guide like a boss kill, so you can see in a tier 14 or 15. I don't know if the footage is gonna be good. Like, maybe it's a bit laggy. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I have a 2070 super, and right now it's a bit fried. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't show really good, but yeah. So you can see basically we run with the Detonate Death, we kill the mobs. If we don't have any corpses to explode, we just Bonestorm and we explode them. And you could say, okay, but what is the actual, like, I don't know, what's the point of playing with Bonestorm if I can do this with the Detonate Death build that just kills your own minions? And it's a really good point, like, I understand. But the thing is, first of all, I don't like minions. Like, I hate them. I don't want to play with them. It's boring for me. The playstyle is awful. I don't know. It's something I really dislike. And second of all, like, Bonestorm is amazing. Like, it feels amazing to play. It's like the fantasy of the class is really good. I love it. So basically, I just didn't want to play with it, and I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go for this. I don't know. I'm just gonna play Bonestorm, not play minions, and play BloodMage because I like the idea. And that's basically it. And the other thing is, I prefer Bonestorm for the boss damage, like the single target damage in bosses. But you can see we are melting through everything. We are in level 77 area. It's tier 13. It's red maps. We're basically one-shotting pretty much everything. I don't know if there's any mechanics in this map. Like, I don't know if there's breach or ritual or whatever. But yeah. And the other question you may have is, okay, I just wanna run Bonestorm. Okay, I wanna run just Bonestorm. I don't wanna play with Detonate Death because I don't like the idea of exploding corpses. And that was my first idea. Like, I didn't like it either. I didn't think it was fun at start, because I thought, like, I'm relying on corpses. What if I don't have corpses? What happens? Like, I just want to play with bone skills. And I understand, guys. I really understand. But when you get to mechanics like league mechanics like breach, or ritual, you're getting surrounded by 30, 50, 60 mobs in no time, like literally no time. I will try to include some footage of it on the guide, and it's fucking crazy. Like there's nothing you can do. You like if you start casting Bonestorm, you die before you end up casting it. It's absolutely crazy. So basically, what you do is like you become a porcupine and you start pressing bone cage, bone cage, bone cage, bone cage, bone cage, bone cage, so nobody gets close to you. And then when there's corpses, you just press detonate death and you're exploding so many corpses. It's fucking incredible. Like you're gonna see loot popping everywhere. Everything's gonna die, and you're gonna feel much better than if you were just pressing Bonestorm non-stop like this. Oh, I wanna cast, and I can't cast. Okay. So I'm gonna go through the bad things on the build, or the things I feel are a bit clunky. The first thing is, obviously, when you cast Bonestorm, you are so fucking slow. Like, I don't know if... I understand this is intended, but I'm running cast speed because I fucking hate how slow you feel when you're pressing Bonestorm. It's kind of annoying, like, when mobs are really quick going at you, it doesn't feel good. Like, I'm gonna be real, it doesn't feel good, but then you kill them all in one hit and you feel better, so it's worth for me. But the other thing is, you can, and this is funny, but you can actually bug this, because you can do this. Like, you can press Bonestorm, it start casting, and then you move, and you're moving full speed. Like, obviously this is not intended, so I will advise you not to do this. I already reported the bug to GGG because I feel like it's cheating, and I really don't like these mechanics to be inside the game. But yeah, if you start pressing and then press again, you basically run full speed. So you get rid of the movement, the movement impairment from channeling, and it feels much better. Like if they changed it, or if they said, okay, this is how the build actually works, I would be like extremely happy. But it's not. Okay, so yeah. And then the other thing is heft support is basically not working. So I'm gonna finish the map and I'm gonna show you. Okay, I will make a little cut in the video and I will show what I mean. But heft is probably the best support, I think, in the game for us right now, besides brutality, obviously, because it gives us 20%, no, 30% more maximum damage for physical skills. And it's actually a recommended support for Bonestorm, but right now it's just not working. So yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't basically work. Like, I don't know why. It's a bit like Gore Spike, it's not showing in the tooltip. You can see any differences from having socketed or not socketed. It's kind of crazy that it doesn't work. Oh, yeah, that right now is what can happen to you in Breach. And if you start casting Bonestorm, then you're absolutely kaput, okay? Oh, I finished the map, I didn't realize. Okay. So we basically go back to Hideout, and I'm gonna show you the problem I told you about, okay, with the heft support. So we come here, we have heft here. Oh no, is persistence? What do I have? Heft. Okay, heft is here. So we take heft and we get rid of, for example, I don't know. Let's get rid of Scattershot, okay? So you see my damage is 66,000 in the tooltip, or 67. And if I socket heft, which says support skill have 30% more maximum damage, which should increase the physical damage here by 30%, like instead of 6,000, it should go to like 11 or 12,000. 11,000, better. I socket it, and it does nothing. Like, it does absolutely nothing. I don't know why, it just doesn't work. So, I don't know. I hope they fix that, because it's gonna feel really good. But right now, I don't feel the need to push for a 5-link, because I don't know what to socket there. So, yeah, it's basically useless. And another thing I think I forgot when I told you about the gems is that you can keep Detonate Death as low as you can, like the lowest gem tier or gem level that you can, because it basically doesn't increase the damage you deal, because at all levels you deal physical damage equal to 20% of corpse maximum life, which scales with your physical damage, but doesn't scale with gem level. So you are going to be paying double mana or triple or 5 times more mana depending on the gem level you get to for no additional damage. So basically it's not worth. You could just stick to that and just basically play with level 6 gem. I think you can have it, or level 7, and you're going to be dealing the same damage for much less mana and much less life, which is also important. So yeah. And then one thing I forgot, this is true. I told you, okay, so I don't want to run Skeletal Warriors, one, because I don't like it, and second, because it reserves Spirit, and I prefer to have Blasphemy. Okay, so Blasphemy, basically you soak it in a curse, and the curse is around you. You create an area that you curse enemies, and I have vulnerability on it. Okay, so you can see I'm not running any additional spirit. I have 100, which is basically what you have when you finish the campaign. And the thing is, you can't socket all life remnants with Vitality, Clarity, and Cannibalism and Blasphemy at the same time. Like, you're not gonna have enough spirit. But if you quality it up to 20%, you see it has reduced reservation. So instead of 60, you reserve 54, I think it is. So if you reserve 54, those 6 spirit you are not reserving makes it so that you can get it. Okay, why do I do this? One, because, as I told you, I prefer that instead of Skeletal Warriors. Two, because vulnerability takes a long time to cast, and you're basically easy to kill there. And third, because it takes so much fucking mana. Like, if I take vulnerability out of here and I put it here, it's 401 mana, 401 life. Like, you can see my mana pool. It gets to, like, it takes half of my mana pool. And I wanted to have, like, most effect possible, so I'm not gonna leave vulnerability at level 1. I just prefer to socket it in Blasphemy, and if I get a bit less effect because of the because of Blasphemy, I basically don't care. Like, I just prefer that. Okay, so that's basically it. I think I went through pretty much everything. I don't know if I actually missed anything. If you feel like I'm missing anything, just leave it in the comment section. If you have any doubts, you want to ask me anything. My character name is DurinChaos. I'm playing a lot, so you can probably find me online. And I will try to include some footage about boss killing or a breach or something that is interesting for you guys. So maybe if you find interesting, just comment it, say, okay, I want to see how you did the lab, for example, the 4th lab, or I want to see how you, because it takes a long time for me, or because the last boss is hard, or because, I don't know, something you want to see, guys, about the build. And then, yeah, I don't know, you can whisper me in game, I will maybe start streaming again now. And yeah, that was it. I was basically just wanted to show you my build, show you what I play with, and share it a bit with the community, because it's so good. This game is amazing. I am having a blast with it. I played for, I don't know, 200 hours maybe already. So yeah. See you guys in future videos, and I hope you like the build. If you have any doubts, just let me know. And that's basically it. Bye bye. Okay, so as I told you, I wanted to include like a boss tier and a boss skill, so you can see how the build actually works in bosses. And I'm gonna try to do let's say level 14, or I don't want to do it with Enfeeble, but we can actually try. Okay, we're gonna try with Enfeeble. It's corrupted, so it's +1 to monster level, and it's a boss map basically. So we're gonna have 80 monster level. We open the map. I'm gonna leave this here. Oh, not here. Let's go in here. Yeah. Okay, so we go in, and I'm gonna show you how the build actually plays against bosses too. Like, I might die, I'm gonna be honest, like, this is maybe a failed video, but I just wanna, like, show you a bit how it works and everything. So yeah, again, we just basically go through it, we kill all the mobs. This is gonna be a really in-depth guide, like, maybe it's too long, I don't know. But yeah, here, when you get surrounded by mobs, you can see, like, you cannot stop to cast Bonestorm. Like, if it's a rare mob, maybe you can, but anything else, like, if you're getting surrounded, it's, like, impossible. Like, you shouldn't stop to cast Bonestorm, okay? Then we basically get this, we run. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but yeah, whenever you kill people, like, you cast Profane Ritual to generate power charges, and that creates a explosion from Bonestorm that is really, really good. Like, you do a lot more damage when you have power charges, and it feels much better. So yeah, you just run, we kill everything. I'm looking for the boss because I don't want to make the video too quick, but yeah. I mean, too long. Hey! Oh my god, man. I got almost one-shotted. And you can see that we're doing this in a level 15 map with +1 monster level with enfeeble cools on us. Like, the damage is really there. Like, we are not like top tier build with Headhunter running through maps like, I don't know, like it's cutting through butter, but it's a really good build. Like, it's a good build. I've seen people struggling way more or not being able to play maps, or I don't know. It's just a straightforward build. You don't really have to pay attention to any mechanics like, oh no, my mana needs to be, I need to cap like 600 mana regen per second because otherwise I can't sustain my whatever. Like, it's not like that. It's really straightforward. You just go through the map. I have Bonestorm on my right click because I feel like it's the moving with WHD is the best thing you can do. Like, and then you just run through it and you kill everything. Like, it's I don't know what to tell you. Like, the gameplay is simple. It's not as simple as maybe, I don't know, playing Cyclone in PoE 1 or Flicker Strike or whatever. You press one button and you just run through the whole map. But it's fun. Let's just say it's... My god! I take my eyes off the screen for a second and I almost die. But you can see that what I was telling you about the defense mechanism, like, when they hit us, we actually die. Like, if you get hit a lot or you get surrounded, you're gonna die. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You're gonna die because we don't have any, I don't know, damage reduction or anything. You just have capped resistances, which is... Oh, this is the boss, right? Is this the boss? Please tell me it is. Okay, it is. Okay, so we get a power charge, we charge it, and boom. You can see we get like almost half of his life from one hit. And then we have Enfeeble, keep this in mind. I get vulnerability and it's basically dead. Like, you take 4 seconds because I have Enfeeble, because I wasn't close enough with vulnerability. But yeah, like, it's just like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the build is good, I've tried it many times. It's... for me, it's a really good build. It's the first build I created myself, and I'm proud of it. So yeah, I hope you like that. I hope you feel like this guy is useful for you. And I don't know, as I told you before, just any doubts you have, leave them in the comment section or whisper me in game during chaos. I will answer your doubts. Okay. So see you guys in future videos. I will try to make videos about killing the Uber bosses and doing basically all the endgame I can. And yeah, that's basically it. See you guys.